Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
It's Thursday. It's not just Family Feud Day.
Oh, fuck.
It's the Family Feud Day. Fuel up for your fall routine with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Ready in just 2 minutes. Get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month with promo code BID50 at factormeals.com/BID50. I know Dallas was fueling up for his Family Feud showdown today with Meg Braden, the reigning, defending, undisputed world heavyweight champion of the Braden family. As far as internet views go, will be joining us. We're gonna do the pod. We're gonna stop down, join up again later to do the Family Feud, Dallas versus Meg. I'll be there. I've already been accused of fucking over Dallas. He's very rattled by this. Like, he thinks that like the world is out to get him and that this is in Meg's favor. I just want it on the record. I had nothing to do with the prep for this. I had nothing to do with the questions. I don't know what the questions are. I'm just here.
If you think I trust that long-haired fucking hippie just below me right here any farther than I could throw him and the Discord, we know what those people are up to. We know what those people are up to, Jared. We know what kind of fuckery is abound with those folks. And
I met Zach. Zach from the Baseball is Dead Discord came to the House of Blues meet and greet on Monday.
Very
nice guy. Very nice guy. But I immediately went into attack mode.
So did I.
He came up, introduced himself. I was like, so you're the motherfucker that's trying to get me in Dallas. He's like, no. So very nice guy. I forget where he said he's from, but it's definitely not anywhere close by. So there were a lot of people that came from California, Alabama, Tennessee. People travel very far to be there. Zach, I believe, was one of those people. Very nice to meet him. A lot of people at the meet and greet were also big Baseball is Dead fans, and they love their Dallas and Jayhay, and they always tell Jake to stop yapping. And a lot of people were actually very excited about today's matchup. So I'm excited as well. I will have no role in this other than a casual onlooker. That's it. That's all I'm going to do.
Yeah. Well, I'm already protesting.
You're going to be fine, dude.
I just don't. We'll see. I think it was Cincinnati. Maybe he's from Cincinnati. He's from Cincinnati, I think.
Okay.
Or Texas. One of the two.
Very similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you land in Cincinnati and you're like, man, this reminds me of Dallas.
The skyline.
Yeah. The heat. Yeah. All of it. Speaking of the heat, Jayhay, I have a lot of black ink, including the league lead in doubles 8 times, hits twice, RBI once, OBP 4 times, and home runs once.
Ernie Banks.
I have over 3,000 hits, and I've won multiple World Series.
Roberto Clemente.
I'm in the Baseball Hall of Fame and the Hall of Fame for 2 different teams.
Ricky Henderson.
I somehow only got 82.1% of the vote and got in on the second ballot.
Ooh. Wade Boggs.
I won an MVP and I have more career doubles than Albert Pujols. Oh, shit.
George Brett.
I played in 22 big league seasons, won a batting title, hitting 386. I lead all of Major League Baseball in doubles.
Rod Carew.
3, 2,
Adrian Beltre.
1.
Mika.
Wow.
Who is it?
Tris Speaker.
Oh.
Oh.
I usually would have given you a decade, but I feel like if I was like, I played in the 1910s, it's like how many people were like the doubles machine in the 1910s? It's either going to be Babe Ruth.
I mean, I should
Tris
get
Speaker.
all of these, but whatever.
I made it more difficult for you out of respect.
No, I know. I get it. I shouldn't not get any of them. So
I usually give you a decade, or I'll give you a year that they went into the Hall of Fame to kind of like pinpoint an era. I didn't let you pinpoint an era, but I thought saying I lead all of Major League Baseball. Actually, the line says I lead all of Major League Baseball in a statistic that was previously mentioned. So I didn't even, when it's written, I didn't even say
Yeah,
doubles. But since we were at seconds away,
I
I
haven't
was like,
thought about the major league leader in doubles in
In a
a
while.
long time, maybe ever. Obviously, I know who that is, but yeah, disappointing.
you're going to bounce back from this.
Oh, no doubt.
I feel like the way that you can get back on a winning track, though, Jayhay, is if you download the Underdog Fantasy app.
Well, that's no doubt about it.
Yeah, the easiest place to play fantasy sports. Playing their pick'em game is as simple as selecting higher or lower on player stats, strikeouts, total bases, home runs, and so much more. Make entries of all baseball or mix and match across your other favorite sports. You can win up to 100 times your money, and it's a ton of fun. Going to put my picks out in just a little bit. We got Red Sox Yankees tonight, so that might be a little Red Sox Yankees heavy. I don't know yet. Haven't decided. You can rest assured that, what was it, Saturday, Garrett Cole is going up against the Red Sox. So I'm definitely going higher on half a home run for Rafael Devers. Just feels appropriate, especially after Garrett was like, well, it's really difficult to face Rafael Devers, That's a great clip. I will be putting that on the soundboard probably when we're done with this podcast. Make sure you sign up with the promo code Jared, that's Jared, to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a special pick on Underdog. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code Jared. All right. Big show today. Dallas already on edge, obviously. I mean, he's always on edge unless he's high, but he's got a big day today. He's got to take it back. He's got to fight for what's right. He has to take down this media mogul that he chose to marry. Not at the time. Not at the time was she a media mogul, but she is now. That matchup coming up later. Bowden Francis. What's up with Bowden Francis? He's basically Dave Stieb now.
It's kind of.
But Dave Stieb got one. He got one. Did he get two?
It's kind of. Oh no, is back to back that happened.
I know, but like that pretty much. I got to do some Dave Stieb research. Like I remember, so when MLB Network first came out, this was 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And I was glued to this thing because I would watch SportsCenter, ESPN highlights, whatever, and I would have to sit there through the fucking college football and whatever else, like just play the baseball. And when MLB Network came out, I was like, I am never switching from this channel ever again. I would just watch the Prime 9. They would do countdowns of like all different categories, and then they would do all these like historical. Like I learned so much of like baseball history when MLB Network first came out because they would have so much programming that was historically based. And that's when I learned about Dave Stieb. I didn't know who he was until MLB Network came out. And they talked about how many times that he got close to a no-hitter and then didn't happen. And then he finally got his no-hitter. And I'm not 100% sure. He might have had two. I can't remember. Maybe it was one. But he flirted with a no-hitter many, many times. And people were starting to think like, this is crazy. Like this is such a statistical anomaly that one guy can be so good and knock on the door of a no-hitter that many times and never get one. And then when he finally got one, it was like, hooray, Dave Stieb. And now Bowden Francis is today's modern day Dave Stieb. He took a no-hitter into the 9th inning a few weeks ago against the Angels. And what was it? Taylor Ward took him deep, the first batter of the 9th inning. And then he had a 1-0 lead going into the 9th inning at home against the Mets, and gave up a leadoff home run to Francisco Lindor to end that no-hitter. So, Jake, book Bowden Francis. I want to know where he's at right now, because there's some guys where that may rattle them and be like, God damn, like I really want to throw a no-hitter. Like it seems pretty easy. Like Dallas Braden did it. Like how is it eluding me? How is it something that I can't get the job done? Or is it kind of like, you're just like, shit, you have to laugh at it. You just have to be like, man, that's just shit luck. It is what it is. Or at least if you're going to give up a home run to lose your no-hitter in the 9th inning, it's to potentially the eventual National League MVP that year.
It's easy to do. It's not that hard. I don't know what's the price. You're just one more out. Like you just got 26. Yeah. Maybe not in a row, which, that's not for everybody. But you've got to be able. It's just one more out. Come on, man. It's just one more out.
It is Bowden, though, right?
It is Bowden.
Is it?
It's not Bowden. It's Bowden.
Bowden.
Just for when Jake reaches out to him to book him.
Yeah, book him.
Like Jimmy Bowden.
I mean, the craziest thing is that you see guys lose hitters in the ninth inning, not all the time, but it definitely happens. What you don't often see is that team then goes on to lose the game, right? Like I know these aren't high stakes games for the Blue Jays necessarily, but that's a pretty unbelievably frustrating sequence of events, I would have to imagine, for Francis specifically and the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays overall, to, think you're in a position to not only win the game, but do some really cool celebrating in what's been a really disappointing season. And instead, the next guy comes in and promptly, absolutely, Green did about as bad as you can do as a relief pitcher.
Well, it just completely blows up everything that just happened on the mound. That's what sucks. Like, even if you wanted to somehow try to find the light in the fact that you didn't finish what you just had in front of you, it's like, all right, well, maybe we still got a chance to win the. Well, now that sucked too, and now everything. No, I don't want to talk about we just lost the fucking game. Like that. Like that's you go. That is a roller coaster of emotion right there.
I have a separate thought. I would like to just talk to Justin Havens right now, Dallas. If you could sit this one out.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not talking perfect game.
So when you're trying to break down the psychology of someone throwing a no-hitter, and when they get to the ninth inning, how many different times we've seen guys lose a perfect game or a no-hitter in the ninth inning, and when we talk about the closer mentality, and the closer goes out there, and those last 3 outs, they just feel different because they are different. The pressure is different. You maybe have a part of the batting order coming up where it's like these are 3, 4, 5s coming up, and it's a 1-run game. It is different. Not every inning feels the same because it's not the same. So doesn't it almost make Dallas's perfect game more impressive now, getting to know Dallas Braden, the man who has a mental breakdown over his laptop not working or his headphones not working, being like, all right, now take that same individual and put him in the ninth inning of a perfect game with 3 outs to go in Oakland on Mother's Day, all of that happening, and for him to not have some sort of freak out or just his brain goes in a different direction. Like, we've seen how quickly and how easily this man's mind can fracture. So to have all of that going and to still be able to finish out the perfect game, I think that there's a video essay in here somewhere that Dallas Braden's perfect game might be the most impressive of all time, given the mind of the man.
The fragility of the man.
Yeah, fragility of the man. Yeah, the mental makeup is something to behold. Yes. That's
actually a great title for the piece, The Fragility of Man. With just a picture of Dallas. I mean, it is. I don't know if Dallas has ever characterized it this way. I don't remember offhand, but it does lend credence to the idea that it can almost be an out of body experience, or where you almost black out during the moment, where it's like, you look back, what were you thinking in the ninth inning? It's like, I don't even really remember. It's like, because like it does seem like he almost had to transport himself to a new plane of existence during the whole thing, and really the ninth inning specifically.
He had to have like an alter ego, like whatever name that he used to use to like sign into hotels and stuff. Like, he had to become that person on the mound. Like, this perfect game is actually like James Dixie. Like, I'm out there trying to get outs. It's like, this isn't Dallas Braden out there.
Let me toss out another theory here while you and I are just riffing on this, with Dallas taking kind of a sideline seat here. I also wonder, so we've known Dallas, the podcast era is 2017 on, right? Like I've known him for a little longer. You've known him since before 2017 too. And so let's just call it a clean decade, right?
Sure.
So I wonder if we've just seen a guy getting a little bit softer. You know what I mean? And that maybe the guy who was on the mound was steelier. Maybe a little bit grittier. A little bit more raw.
Mhm. I mean, trust
you
me,
know,
I-
and not
I-
even to the worst necessarily overall as a human, but you know, now he's just kind of
more of a
gooey.
pussy. Yeah.
Little gooey.
Yeah. So there's definitely something that happens to you when you become a girl dad. And I know Dallas, he can speak to this. I can certainly speak to this when you become a girl dad that just does something to you. You become softer. But that
no
Dallas
doubt.
Braden that threw the perfect game, I mean, this is pre-marriage. This is pre-kids. This is a raw, like, it's almost like he was like a fucking rabid raccoon out there. He was just out there like, that guy still kind of exists now. You get that guy's headphones to not turn on and that raccoon comes back out.
Yeah,
But,
go
you
talk
know.
to Devon.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Poor Devon, man. But that raccoon will come out from time to time. But back then, that raccoon was all that we knew. So, but yeah, it's one of those things where he's evolved, he's matured, he's grown. It's almost like the Grinch. When the Grinch's heart, it grew multiple sizes. Like that's Dallas Braden. But at the end of the day, he's still the Grinch.
Yeah, the Grinch at the end of the movie could never have thrown a perfect game.
No. But that first one, that the OG Grinch, you should have seen his changeup, brother.
Well,
it
you
was
see his fingers,
else.
dude?
Yep.
Imagine the grip you can get on the ball with that.
Yep.
That guy's
tons of spin.
Yeah.
Tons of spin.
You done?
Yeah. That
You
was
done?
good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I think we
what's up,
covered
dude?
it. Yeah, we covered it.
Good. All right.
Wait, actually, Jake, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I just think the Grinch would be lights out on the mound.
Yeah. The fingers. I mean, look at Pedro's fingers. Like he had long ass fingers and they were super flexible. And yeah, I mean, that ball was rolling off the fingertips for days with Pedro. So yeah, shout out to the Grinch. I think he doesn't get enough credit. Bugs Bunny gets all the credit for being like the cartoon baseball.
He's got the
Yeah.
nastiest changeup in cartoon
we've never
history.
seen the Grinch. We've never seen the Grinch throw a baseball. That's all. I'm just saying. You know, kind of like Babe Ruth. It's like, oh, we keep talking about how great he is, but like no one's ever actually seen him play. There's no footage of it, but the Grinch, you kind of just have to believe. Two fat fucks that everyone thinks would be great at baseball, but we've never actually seen them play.
The Grinch didn't have
the
a
Grinch
dietary
fat?
issue.
Dude, the Grinch
No.
was built like it. No. The Grinch was built like an upside down light bulb.
Well, okay, so I did already have the Google page of Grinch imagery up before you said that. And
Probably
I'm
the
looking
waist
at-
up, right? Probably the waist up.
Yeah, I'm looking at the original one at least, like from the books,
Mhm.
and he does have something of a melon-like body.
He's got a thick lower half. How do you expect
Yeah.
the guy to work down the slope with
If I
regularity
saw a
if he doesn't have a
person that was
foundation
shaped
underneath
like that,
him?
I would call them a pear and
Yeah.
snicker.
Yeah, and think about.
I'm not
think about,
saying
he's-
it's a bad thing, like, you know, mass equals gas, but I'm not saying he's svelte either. He's
Well,
not.
he's going through chimneys head first, right? To go to get the tree. So you got to have.
We're not
you gotta be
saying
top-heavy.
there's not an evolutionary reason for why he looks like that, but I think in fairness we have to concede that he's a little thick in the
His
lower.
lower half has just been funneled
Yeah.
by the shape of
Yeah.
many a chimney, many a flue have led to this evolutionary characteristic. It's
He's got those skinny little legs though, so
Mhm.
I know you guys talk leg day all the time or whatever, but yeah, maybe mix one of those in.
I can't relate anymore. I got tree trunks, brother. I'm down
I'll
here
check
putting in
those out.
work. Yeah,
Oh,
you guys
good for
can
you.
guys can check these fuckers out whenever you want. I'm wearing shorts
Okay.
right now.
check.
I'm wearing shorts. So
Okay, when we do the live streams in
Yeah.
the postseason, I'll be sure to get a seat with a good view
Well, I was
of
gonna
those
say, no.
fuckers.
No,
Front row short
why
shorts.
why don't you just do the stream in a Speedo? I think that's the best way to do it. You just you do the stream in a
Yeah.
Speedo.
I would.
Okay,
All right, done.
done.
All right then.
Wild card
All
stream.
right then.
Wild card Speedo stream coming up.
Just
Yeah,
sitting front
that's
row in a
just Jared,
speedo.
by the way.
Yeah, that's how we bump the views.
The stats are best done with all the clothes on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Looking forward to that.
I just looked up the fucking Dave Stieb stuff. I know we got other shit to go.
Yeah, what's
but
up
I mean,
with that?
think about this is how his last 3 games in, what was it, 90? 89 maybe? I think 89. CG shutout, CG shutout, CG shutout. So 3 CG shut pieces, in a row. It was the last 2 starts that go one hitter. The third start before that, it was CG Shutpiece 4 hits, and he also had another CG Shutpiece 1 hitter back in May of that year as well. So 3 complete game shutout 1 hitters for Dave Stieb in 89.
I mean, not to get totally sidetracked here, but like if you want to talk about kind of a stealthy, decent Hall of Fame case,
I was going to say, are we doing Hall of Fame case for Dave Stieb right now? I feel like that's where we were going.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
We can
What's
get
the
there.
war? What's the war?
It's over 50. It's,
okay.
Is it 58?
56.5 on Baseball Reference. He's got a peak where he had 7+ WAR, 3 straight seasons, and then 6.8, and he led baseball, led the AL, and then led baseball in wins above replacement across 3 straight seasons. And then had a 4th season where he had 6.8 and finished 7th in the Cy. I mean, it doesn't look like he was getting the proper respect in the Cy Young voting, which is probably what has hurt his case, and the fact that he was basically done as an effective Major League Baseball pitcher starter after age 32, which is a little young. But if you're looking for peak, I mean, me personally, and I'm not drawing a direct comparison between Dave Stieb and Johan as pitchers, but like, to me, when I think Hall of Fame, I think what I saw from Johan over like a 7-season stretch, as opposed to, maybe some people who get there with a little bit more bulk. But I don't know. Dave Stieb is, plus you have the heartbreak of all the no-hitter stuff, as we're talking about, before finally, getting it done in 90. He was absolutely at the cream of the crop over a half-decade period. So if that's what you look for in pitching, and he had a real it's not like he was only great for 5 years. He had like a 10, 11 season run, but underrated
Dave
case.
Dave Stieb, the career comp would be Tim Hudson.
Well, like, think about a dude who you're talking, like, we could very well be talking about Dave Stieb having 5 no-hitters?
Yeah. Ish. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Dave Stieb, 56.5 career WAR, 56.6 for Tim Hudson. But both individuals had a noticeably higher career WAR than Jack Morris, who did get in the Hall of Fame. So,
hey,
I don't know. Justice for Dave Stieb, I guess.
No Jack Morris slander. Stop.
No, I'm not slandering. I'm just saying this is praise for Dave Stieb. Jake, book Dave Stieb. I really want to get inside the mind. Is he alive? He's got to be, right? I think he is. I would know if he wasn't. I'd like to talk to Dave Stieb. We've booked a lot of people this week. Who else did we book, Jake, this week?
Definitely not Bon Jovi.
Yeah, no Bon Jovi. We're out on Bon Jovi right now. Which is
why are you out on Bon Jovi? Bon Jovi's a humanitarian.
Yeah, I know that. He's
How are you out on a guy who just saved a woman's life?
That's why it's tough timing, Dallas. It's nothing. It's not that. It's not that. We commend him for his heroic act, but we don't want him at our Christmas party.
Okay.
Would you like to come?
Christmas party?
Yeah. Well, see, it's a Christmas party. It's a Christmas party for all religions. So we don't want it's not a religious Christmas party. We just want to have Christmas themes. We like
go to the Church of Baseball. Is that welcome?
Yeah, we like the hat. We like the Santa hats. We like the trees and all that shit. But we're not going to do Christmas music because then it's like we don't want to exclude people that don't celebrate Christmas. Like, we want you to come to our Christmas party, but it has nothing to do with religion. It has Christmas themes, but we went on a website last night that has the rates that you have to pay for certain artists, and we landed on Exhibit in terms of affordability. So the Christmas party for all religions featuring Exhibit and no Bon Jovi. We just feel like he's always going to be, because he's around for the Patriots. He's friends with Robert Kraft, and we just feel like if the Christmas party's too poppin', that he'll show up, and we don't want whoever comes to overshadow
Exhibit,
the party. We don't want it to be about Bon Jovi, you know?
You don't want him still in the spotlight.
Right.
That makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, we landed on exhibit. So yeah, we'd love to have you guys, all of you.
Yeah, I'll see if we can make it. The Grinch.
X to the Z, baby.
The Grinch will be there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the Grinch with his fucking big ol' ass will be there. His long fingers. Throwing ass on the dance floor, the Grinch. He's got plenty to spare.
You know what I want to do? That makes me want to come to your house right around Christmas time, and your children could be just huddled around a window somewhere.
Yeah.
And off in the distance, meandering through the woods, they just see the Grinch. And then
it's just Dallas Braden dressed up as the Grinch to try and scare my children.
And then there's a little on their window at night. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They would probably love that. They're
I'll turn
like
Christmas into
they
Halloween.
already started. They started decorating for Halloween yesterday, so
Love that.
they're into that.
Get it going.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, we started Halloween decorations yesterday. So, anyways, looking forward to the Dave Stieb interview. That's going to be big. No one else is going to have that. That's the big part of it, is that it's an exclusive with Dave Stieb.
Well,
So
speaking
be on
of
the
no one
lookout.
else having that, Jayhay, you were telling us a pretty awesome story about a baseball card that you received
Yeah.
offline. Do you have that baseball card on hand? Can you show us that baseball card?
I do have it. It's right here. It is.
Harold on
Looking
Cardano.
That's right. Orioles. That was
Is
sent
that
to me
numbered?
by.
Is that number, Jayhay? What's up in the top left corner?
Says 1 of 1.
Yeah, bro.
Bro.
They gave you a fucking superfractor. How about that?
Harold Baines Topps Chrome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
35th anniversary.
I don't know. I can't see that one. It says Hall of Fame. Archive Signature Series. Yeah. Very cool, obviously, given how important the Baines meter is to me, but more significant was, and shout out to Eric G. Yeah, that's a very, very generous thing. And just, it was very touching to receive that sort of contact and, level of appreciation from somebody who listens to the pod. And, like I experienced when we were on the ground in Atlanta last year for the postseason, which was kind of my first time being like amongst the people as part of the podcast. It was very cool moment, and just a reminder of that we're very fortunate to do what we do, and also that the BID community is and Eric's gesture specifically is just the cream of the crop, and a big part of why this is fun.
No, it's very cool. We've had a lot of fans reach out to us over the years. Incredible gestures, much like the one that you just received, Jayhay. I had folks send me old Ray Fosse cards when my partner passed away. Folks have sent me Tony La Russa cards, Whitey Herzog autograph cards, because we just were randomly talking about Whitey Herzog one day. And we truly do have some of the best not some of the best. We have the best fucking listeners, the best fan base that I think we could possibly hope for. And gestures like that from Eric are a big reason why. I don't know if Eric used GregMorrisCards.com or not to track that Harold Baines card down. If he did, outstanding, tip of the cap. It didn't take long, I can tell you that. Because if you go to GregMorrisCards.com, which you guys know about, you guys know that those are my partners, good friends. They help lock down any treasure item you are looking for. Vintage card, new card, mostly vintage, anything old. I mean, these are the dudes who quite literally, I called and was like, I need a 1922 caramel. And they were like, say less, bro. Done. What's the dude's name? Got it. And it was, I mean, in days, I had a card that I was being laughed out of chat rooms trying to find. They're like, yeah, no shot, but that's not happening. GregMorris.com, GregMorrisCards.com, locked it in. So if you have a card you're after, if you have cards that you are looking to sell, that's the biggest thing, because there's a lot of collectors out there who've got old cards looking for something to do with them. They want to get the value on them. GregMorrisCards.com. Those folks right there are the number one leader in the clubhouse when it comes to vintage dealing, whether you're looking to buy, sell, trade, whatever. GregMorrisCards.com. Look no further.
Love that. Now we're also going to be doing some card related thing. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to, you guys still have to work it out, but I'm sure you will. Phil's a great guy. During the first round of the playoffs, the wild card round, when we get Dallas out here, Jayhay out here, Jayhay should actually be very much involved in that. There's a card store, sports memorabilia store. He's super famous around these parts, Phil Castanetti Sports World. He's had multiple locations. I used to go there as a kid in Malden, when it was in Malden, because all the wrestlers would go there. Like when WWF was in town, that's where the wrestlers would go to do their autograph signings. But he has the coolest selection of like signed shit. Like I have like all like my final out pieces are I got them from Phil. So what we're gonna do is we'll go over there, the three of us. I know Dallas is gonna sign some baseballs, but we'll do like a card break, or Dallas will do a card break, and then we can just like hang out with people. That'll be fun.
Sounds great.
Yeah,
Good
looking
times.
forward to that. Very, very much looking forward to that.
He has.
And
I'm not gonna say what it is. He has a piece that I've been coveting for a while. It's a very large framed piece that
I'm gonna bring a piece that I know he will want. And see if we can't work something out. Like I'm wondering if Yaz 101 game used bat knob does anything for him. I know it does. We're gonna be talking Roki Sasaki Kanji autos. That's what I'm talking.
He is a Yankee fan, but he definitely knows where his bread gets buttered, and that's the Red Sox memorabilia market. But yeah, that'll be cool.
Speaking of bread getting buttered, make sure you sign up with the code Jared to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a special pick on Underdog. That is Underdog promo code Jared. Also, be sure to check out that CD Lamb free pick that should be in there if you're already signed up, or if you sign up. Obviously, good till kickoff on Sunday. Needs to get 1 yard.
What team does he play for?
Bruh. Them boys, cuh.
Oh,
yeah, it's not great. It's not great. You wish he played for another team, but he's stuck on
boys.
He's stuck on that kind of floating barge.
Where are we at on Shohei Ohtani 50-50 watch, Justin Havens?
Wow, we are just inching closer. Well, we got a lot closer last night, actually. Led off the game with a homer, 47th homer of the season. So we're at 47-48, I believe is the number now, or the numbers. So we are 3 homers and 2 stolen bases away.
I'm going to weep.
50-50. Feels like a weekend thing, which, good and bad, I guess. But you're going to weep?
I'm going to weep. I'm going to weep.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
I'm not going to, Jayhay, but I am really, I'm going to feel a certain type of way. I just am, because this dude is, you guys know how I feel about him. He is everything that I've ever wanted to see in a baseball player. And like outside of him playing an actual defensive position and being like, well, the guy's a fucking Gold Glove right fielder too. Like there's just not much left for this dude to do. There just really isn't.
Maybe this is a distinction without a difference, but I feel like what I'm most excited for is not that not the 50-50 thing, like that he's going to do 50-50. I'm kind of excited to see like with what flair is the accomplishment achieved with, right? Like, so if it's a homer, if it's a stolen base, like I'm just kind of excited to see that moment and the moment after it, to see like, well, is it awesome? Because, the 40-40 was awesome because he hit a walk-off grand slam. So probably not going to be that as cool as that. That's hard to replicate and requires stuff that he can't control. But like, I'm just kind of interested in that moment. And obviously when I look back on 50-50, it'll be like, holy shit, Shohei went 50-50 that year. But that's kind of how I'm looking at it right now.
All right, Jay. Well, let me break out the crystal ball again, because I told you he was going to hit the homer and get to 40. on the same day at the same time. So it kind of feels like the stolen base comes early in the game and there's not much pomp and circumstance surrounding that. But then it feels like, Jayhay, there's a late at bat. There's a late at bat with the game on the line. And not only does that at bat take him to 50, but that at bat, that homer puts the Dodgers ahead for an important victory. And that's, yep.
Are you seeing a day? Are you seeing a day? Because they don't play today. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday needs 2 and 3. Like, are you seeing a day?
Oh, I mean, Sunday is a day of baseball god worship. So I don't, it could be a Sunday.
That's interesting. Cause you know what that is? That's the Sunday night baseball game.
That's the game's biggest stage, Jayhay.
That's Charlie Morton on the bump for the Braves right now.
Yeah, I think it could be a Sunday. Remember, stolen base happens early. Big home run late.
Okay. So he's got some work to do. You're giving him 3 games to get it done. 2 and 3.
He's carving into that. That's happening.
I mean, what are the like percentage wise? What do you think the odds are that he gets this done
on the season?
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he could go. What is it? How many games do they have left exactly? Like 16 games left for the
17,
Dodgers.
Yeah,
17.
Yeah. Tell me he can't hit 2 homers in 14 games.
No, I'm saying there has to be some possibility that he goes 13 or 14 games without a homer or something like that, but it's not very high. I mean, I have to think the percentage is like 75, 80% that he does this.
Yeah.
That's exciting. I'm just used to, as a Red Sox fan, discussing percentages and have them being very low. Like, oh, the thing that you want to have happen, what are the odds are that it's going to happen? 11%. Okay,
well, no,
that's good.
But if you were to like point your focus at the percentage of interest, though, that's where I think you should start to really focus in.
All
on.
right.
Because you are absolutely 100%
nice all day, nice all morning. I'm wearing your fucking t-shirt, supporting you wearing your t-shirt, and this is what we're gonna do.
What?
No.
We're just spitting facts, bro.
No. I just being a pal over here, wearing a Raise It shirt. Baseballsdeadmerch.com. Get your Raise It t-shirt. Very cool. It's in the Pirates font. It's Dallas's slogan. And just piss on my face. Piss on my face.
I'm not interested in doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Not what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Ugly.
It is ugly. It really is. I'm glad you said it. Because you always need that neutral third party to step in and be like, am I overreacting or not?
If you're both blaming me for ganging up on you, then I'm doing my job right.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It's ugly. I said it last night. I said the D-backs are going back to the World Series. Am I crazy for that?
When did you? Somewhere else.
Last night. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not with us.
Not with us.
No, are you crazy? No. I mean, I feel like every NL team is there's no juggernaut. We've laid that out. We know what the standings say. That's true of the AL as well. It's not that sort of season, and I mean, they are statistically, they have probably the best case as the best offense in baseball right now. Like that's where we stand. To say that we're saying that on September 12th, given I think the way things looked at different points this season, I think is close to remarkable.
Well, you just look at.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jay, just look at like some very, very broad statistics, like team OPS.
Kind of sexist.
Team. I'm into broad stats. 34, 26, 34. 778 OPS.
Yeah.
That's the leader in the clubhouse. That's the leader in the big league clubhouse. I believe where they at on the homer list, like 4th or 5th team homers, right?
Yep, they are 4th currently. Yep.
Juice in the baseball. Does anybody have a better average as a team than the Diamondbacks? Maybe what was it?
Only the Padres.
Yeah, there you go. So offensively, like just again, very broad statistical view of what they're doing. I mean, nobody's aside from the Padres got a better average. When you talk about getting on base and driving the baseball as a team, nobody's doing it better. So yeah, I think collectively it's not a ridiculous statement to make. It's just crazy because it feels like there's more than one guy that's responsible for this, but it really does feel like the reemergence or the rearrival or the rejuvenated Corbin Carroll has had a massive impact on this.
No question. I mean, you look in the second half of the season, arbitrary endpoint, sure, whatever, but just representative of something here. They have 12 more homers than the next best team in baseball, and they are managing that while posting the fourth lowest strikeout rate. So the teams ahead of them in strikeout rate, quote unquote, like with better strikeout rates in the second half, are teams that are displaying nowhere near the power that the Diamondbacks are. Like Washington has the second lowest strikeout rate. They have less than half the home runs that the D-backs have over that span. By wins above replacement, I don't know whatever value you want to attribute to that on a second half of the season. They are far and away the best offense, way better than the Yankees, way better than the Dodgers in the second half. And obviously, like you're correct to point out that their franchise player turning it around and doing so in a massive way is the most important thing. And we've previously talked about Ketel Marte as a down ballot, or middle of the ballot MVP candidate. But like to put up the best offense in baseball, to have that be the water level after 140 whatever games they're at, it has to be more than that. And like Eugenio Suarez is a guy who, like, I think at different points was almost given up for, not dead, but like not a contributor to a winning team, really.
Dead,
I guess.
Jayhay, where's the power? This dude was the guy who was talking about 50 homers. What's going on? Right. And
I know Seattle is the place to go for your offense to die historically. So like, that
Yes.
doesn't help the situation, but like he wasn't playing well offensively for the Diamondbacks for a large chunk of the season. His OPS was below 600 as deep as July 2nd. Like that's not necessarily a small sample size of games where he was terrible, and maybe they didn't have better options. Maybe they are very loyal to the Suarez situation, whatever it might be. They have been rewarded because from that moment, from the last time his ERA was below 600, he has hit 326 with a 1.066 OPS and 22 home runs. He has been one of the best offensive players in the National League for the better part of 3 months now, or 2 months now. And I think that has to be mentioned as a reason why the D-backs are surging forth as well. Huge. I mean, and it's not just power, obviously. Hitting 326, like it's a pristine batting line from a guy that I think looked like he might be a DFA candidate in the middle of the season.
yeah, it was a struggle. That was supposed to be a massive part of their offense. That was supposed to be a middle of the bat order or middle of the order bat that's going to alleviate some of the pressure and responsibility of a Corbin Carroll type, even of a Marte type, right? Those guys are going to be the table setters per se for somebody like Eugenio who's going to be able to come around and clean it up. And I is it fair to say that maybe one of the pauses outside of Zach Gallen right now is what they're going to do on the mound?
I mean, yeah,
I'm not throwing stones and saying that they're not competitive.
So let me turn that around on you.
Okay.
Don't we feel on the whole, maybe we do, maybe we don't. Do we feel better about this rotation at this point right now, or going into the postseason in a couple of weeks than we felt about it entering the postseason last year?
Probably.
Yes. Because of, I mean, I don't want to say because of one name, but Brandon Pfaadt going into last year, we didn't, I mean, I don't want to say it was an unknown commodity, but he was a rookie who didn't exactly have a stellar rookie season, but balled out in the playoffs. So there is tremendous value in knowing that when he gets there, he can do it, and strap that in with fucking Merrill and Gallen. And it's like, yeah, dude, like it sucks that, Montgomery's not going to factor into this. I don't know. like, I guess there's an outside chance. I know they put him in the bullpen, but like, who knows? Like, it's like the postseason's a new season. Maybe he flips a switch and he ends up being a contributor for the D-backs. But even just those guys that we mentioned before, Gallon, Merrill, Fott, like they've got what it takes to make a run. It wasn't like last year. How many wins did they have? 86.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like, oh, like a cute little 86 win D-backs team. Like, this isn't your Kurt Schilling, Randy Johnson, D-backs team of the early 2000s. It's like, okay, yeah, they don't have the star power, but they're still pretty fucking good. But let me amend my take. Not amend, but add like a community notes my take. I want the Phillies to win the World Series. I want the Phillies to win. But the way that the D-backs are constructed would not shock me at all if that was the team going back to the World Series again. Especially now that they've been there, tasted it, got their dicks kicked in, and you can make the case that they are a better team. Not even make a case. They are a better team this year than they were last year, and they went to the World Series last year.
I know Dallas has got to go. So,
yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah,
catch
beat
a bus.
it, geek.
I'll catch y'all
See ya.
very soon. I'm out.
Goodbye. Fuck out of here, dude. See ya.
I'm not quite done with the D-backs. You want to keep riffing for a sec?
Please, yeah.
So I think the only other part that we haven't specifically brought up about them is the bullpen. And, over that same second half of the season sample that I was talking about with the offense, I think there's been some really encouraging stuff going on there. Justin Martinez emerging as a really viable back of the rotation or back of the bullpen option, I think is pretty interesting. And they have guys that we saw perform for them in the postseason, by and large last season as well. So, and then, Puck gives them a weapon that they did not have last postseason from the left side. So you can never predict. Like, they were an unlikely World Series participant last season, but I'm with you fully that as things stand this second, they are a better team than they were entering the postseason last year. I do have some overall concerns. Despite the rotation being in better shape, I do have concerns about that rotation running the gauntlet again. Mm-hmm. But I do think they have probably as good of an argument to say that, hey, why aren't other than the fact that they are not going to win their division and thus benefit from how that works in the postseason for the Dodgers and the Phillies and the Brewers. Like, that's the only argument against the D-backs is that they're going to have to play on the road, potentially in the wild card round.
And that's fine. I mean, I think when we talk about the D-backs, I can admit that last year's performance makes me feel better about them this year. But also just let's say, for argument's sake, the D-backs missed the playoffs last year. They didn't even have their run to the World Series last year. I still feel like I would be kind of just as high in the D-backs this year without last year happening. Last year makes me feel better about it, but when you look at it, the D-backs have a plus 102 run differential. Plus 102. Like, right next to them is the Dodgers, plus 112. Then you have the Brewers at plus 124, which I believe the Brewers are probably going into the postseason as the most slept on team. Like, I think when we kind of like break down the postseason picture, we're thinking, all right, can the D-backs get back? Like, they're playing great baseball. They're well-rounded. They just got there last year. Can they get back? We're talking about the Phillies. The Phillies have been knocking on the door for 3 years now. Is this the year that they break through? I feel like they've made the most effort to get there in terms of roster construction, deadline signings, all that. I'm not saying it feels like their World Series to lose, because I don't feel that way. Like, they haven't done enough to separate themselves from the pack, really. Then you have the Dodgers, no longer the best record in baseball. The Phillies took that back. But they're still the Dodgers. They're still the team that always gets there. They're still the team that's always in the mix. And then the Yankees. Like, it's from that group, like the Yankees having the only two players in Major League Baseball with an OPS over 1,000. This is the year. I can't even give them that. Like, I was going to say this is the year that they went all in. They really didn't. They got Juan Soto and they were like, we're good. All right, sounds good. They didn't. Like, I can't give them that full credit. I'll give them the credit for going out and pairing Soto with Judge for a year, but they didn't really go that extra mile to supplement that historic pairing with, hey, let's actually make sure that we're bulletproof and we shore up some of our weaknesses. They did not do that. Regardless, they are still in a 3-way tie with the Brewers and the Phillies for best run differential in baseball. So, but the D-backs, despite last year being the 6th seed and kind of a Cinderella story, the D-backs to me are in that tier 1. They may be on like the fringe of tier 2, but they belong to me in tier 1 of teams entering the postseason that are legitimate threats to win the World Series. The Phillies, the Yankees, the Brewers, the Dodgers, the D-backs, and throw in the Royals for fuck's sake. Why not?
I mean, I agree. So I agree with everything you just said. I think that normally when it comes to the postseason and it's like who's going to win, I always feel compelled to just kind of throw obviously it's fun to make picks, but just kind of throw your hands up and say, well, the baseball postseason format is designed in a way to mix up the bag and to produce the sort of World Series that we saw last season. Like that's not an accident necessarily. This year, I feel like it's a crapshoot, specifically because the teams haven't differentiated themselves, to your point. Like, I do feel like this is actually by design, by a one-off year, whatever it proves to be, this is a level playing field as it relates to the talent of the teams that are participating. And I think one of the few reasons that any given team will be considered a favorite is just because of what seeding they get and the benefits that come with that. Like, I think you're correct that, like, yeah, throw the D-backs in that top tier. What I struggle with is like, what even is that top tier of teams? And should we really be drawing lines between some of these teams? Because you look at the run differential, and to your point, like, yes, the D-backs being at plus 102 and 5th best in baseball is impressive. You also consider that the very best in the league is at 124. And you get, what is it? 8, 9, you get 9 teams deep before you get below plus 80. And then you still have a huge bunch of teams that are plus 60, plus 70. Like, this is as flat of a run differential season as we've seen in recent baseball history. As I said, the best is a tie between the Phillies. You said this too, but like plus 124, 3-way tie at the top. Last season, the league leader was plus 231. We had 2 teams at plus 200, and the 3rd best run differential was the Rays at plus 195. And we spent like 30% of the season gawking at the Rays run differential. You know what I mean? So it was like that was, and that's closer to the reality, I think, or not reality, but historical norms than what we're seeing this season. So in some ways, that makes it very difficult to say this team is a favorite, this team is an underdog. And in another way, it could maybe produce a really potentially exciting postseason, depending on who's healthy for a variety of these teams.
And there's one team we didn't even mention who, if you told me they would be back in the ALCS again,
yeah,
how could I ever say that you're crazy for saying that? The Houston Astros.
No doubt.
The Houston
I feel
Astros
a lot better than them.
Yeah, like the Houston Astros are now in a position. I was talking to Tex yesterday, that psychopath. I was like, you do know that Justin Verlander is not even going to make your playoff rotation. And it's like, yeah, no, he's washed, but it's not like, it's crazy to me that the Houston Astros are so good that they can say, yeah, Verlander is on our team. He's not going to make the playoff rotation, but like, we're still kind of like, we're going to be okay anyway, you know?
Yeah. I mean, as we've outlined, like that, the front of that rotation is pitching maybe the best in baseball at this point. I know they Hunter Brown and the Astros took a loss last night, but between what Valdez has done after a rough start and the Kikuchi acquisition, I think in a short series they're as dangerous as anybody. And then you look at the standings and it's like, what are they, the 13th best record in baseball or something like that? And I know it's like record, throw it out. They're going to make the postseason, which is fine, but it is a reflection of what we're talking about here where, 1, 2, 3, 13. They are 13th. Yeah. They're the 13th best record in baseball, which is just kind of crazy when I think you're correct to identify them as, one of the 3 or 4 best World Series contenders on the list, provided that their offense is reasonably healthy.
Maybe a dumb question, but team more slept on going into the playoffs, Brewers or Astros? It's the Brewers, right?
Yeah, I mean, unquestionably, I think everybody in their hearts has something of the sentiment that we just expressed about the Astros, which is that we've seen it and we know it can happen. It's the Astros. Their rotation is now what we've outlined. They have Jordan. Maybe Tucker is maybe going to be a healthy contributor or a contributor. We'll see what is going on with Altuve's thing that he left the game with last night. But I think it's definitely the Brewers. They are just not part of the national conversation. They frankly haven't been nearly as part of the conversation on this podcast as the Astros have. And I think when you look at, I think we all know why people are skeptical. And we've outlined, like, there is no Yelich, so there's no like star centerpiece, nationally recognized player to hang your hat on as like, well, that's subjectively, that's the middle of the order guy. Like, that's how their postseason thing is going to work. Even while, as we've said, Jackson Chourio, William Contreras, and Willy Adames, to name three guys, have in their own ways hit like middle of the order franchise bats for months now, if not the entire year. In the case of really Adames and Contreras. So I feel pretty decent about their offense performing in the postseason. What I still am a little bit hung up on is, and I know they can shorten games, and I know the rotation doesn't matter if they want to only get 4 or 5 innings out of these guys, but I just don't. I will admit to a level of skepticism about what the rotation looks like in a postseason series. And I know how well Tobias Myers has been pitching, and I know how nasty Freddie Peralta is and can be when he's at his best. I also saw what happened last night, and maybe he's not making a start for them in the postseason, and it's irrelevant. But I don't trust Frankie Montas. So that again, they have. You can make these sort of qualifiers or caveats about every baseball team in 2024, which is what we're talking about with this whole conversation. The Brewers are not immune to that, but I don't think their flaws are necessarily any more disqualifying than the flaws of any other team.
I have an unpopular
and I think their offense
take.
is exciting. Sorry, that's the last thing. I think the offense is exciting. Chourio, we know he's exciting. That's not breaking news, but they have, Terang stole 40 bases this year. That's fun. Like, he's got a little bit of pop and steals 40 bags. Like, Willy Adames is, I mean, how many shortstops are better than Willy Adames? Honestly, like, I'm not asking you to name them right now, but like,
free agent at the end of the year.
Like, there's probably 4 or 5 shortstops that are definitively better than Willy Adames. Not many.
I really hope the Red Sox are in on Willy Adames.
Be a nice pickup, man. He's developed into a really nice player. 30 bombs this year, 18 bags for whatever that does for you.
Does plenty for me.
Yep. 4 or 5 win player.
And Factor does a ton for me too.
Also me.
Fuel up for the postseason with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals in time for summer thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. Make today the day you kickstart a healthy routine. What are you waiting for? With 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, you'll always have new flavors to explore. Crush your wellness goals this month with dietitian-approved meals and ingredients that you can trust. Make your day delicious from breakfast to dessert. Stay fueled with easy, nutritious options. Treat yourself to restaurant-quality meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, and blackened salmon. Keep kitchen time to a minimum. Factor meals are ready to go in just 2 minutes. No shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleaning up. Enjoy effortless support for your lifestyle. Choose from 6 menu preferences to help you manage calories, maximize protein intake, avoid meat, or simply eat a well-balanced diet. Head to factormeals.com/BID50 and use the promo code BID50 to get 50% off your first box. plus 20% off your next month. That is promo code BID50 at factormeals.com/BID50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. Before that, Jayhay, I said I had an unpopular take.
I'm nervous now.
Yeah. All right. This is going to be unpopular. I don't care because I love the player and I also don't care about PEDs. I am having a blast watching Fernando Tatís Jr. playing baseball again. I just am. It's almost like, we've had these like kind of, off-season segments where it's like, oh, if you could bring one player back and plop them into 2024 and get to watch them again in their prime, who would you bring back? I would always say Manny Ramirez. And watching Fernando Tatís Jr., it's like if I could watch Manny Ramirez while also being an elite defender, like that's what I get to see in Tatís. His presence at the plate, when he hits homers, like he pimps them the same way that like Manny did. He hits the ball so hard. His homers go really far. I enjoy that. Robbed a home run last night. He's got a cannon of an arm. I know people are out on him or still disappointed, or they're like, it's out west. If you're a Dodger fan, I get why you hate the good players in the Padres. I get it, but I'm a East Coast baseball fan, and his presence in the game affects me zero as a Red Sox fan. I just love watching him play baseball. So I'm just, it's one of those things where, like I have this itch that needs to be scratched because Manny was my guy. I loved watching Manny hit, and it's all like, it's just weird because every great hitter, all their swings are different. But to me, the perfect swing, the way that it should look, it's like if it were created in a lab, the perfect right-handed swing was Manny's. And the closest I think I've ever come is, ironically, it was like Javi Baez was that for a little bit. And Wilson Contreras had a little bit of Manny in him, but he also played with those guys with the Iowa Cubs, their AAA affiliate. He was like a player coach. So like you can see the influence. But with Tatís, it's like, yep, I see it. I love it. And then I'm going to tune in for it every night.
I mean, I feel like I don't know what part of that is unpopular. I mean, I guess it's unpopular.
People don't like Tatís. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel that way about him. I don't feel that level of animosity, and I understand why I don't feel that way. But I do on some level. This is not a hate thing at all because I'm much closer to your end with Tatís. I do understand how the viewing or overall consumption of Fernando Tatis's career could feel confusing to a baseball fan. I'm a little confused by Fernando Tatís still, even if, to your point, he's great and very valuable and exciting and all of that. You had a guy who emerged onto the scene and was like pretty much instantaneously the most exciting player in the game. Not the third most, not the sixth most. He was the most exciting player in the game for arguably his first 3 seasons, 19 to 20. I mean, we're talking about per 160. And now this is where it gets complicated because in different seasons, you only saw pictures of the guy, right? You saw, obviously 2020 was shortened because of things outside of his control. He played basically the whole season. 2019 was his debut season. He only played 84 games. He didn't play a full season in 21. He played 130 games. And then in 22, he obviously didn't play for all the reasons that you outlined. But prior to that, we're talking about a guy that per 162 had 48 homers and 31 stolen bases. Like that's as exciting as it gets. And then he gets suspended for PEDs and he comes back and he's reemerged as a fundamentally different player, even if he's just as valuable overall as a package. He was like an athletic, maybe a little bit rough, even if he's got some standout skills at shortstop, while being an insanely good offensive player. He comes back and he's a platinum glove caliber center fielder who's not hitting for anywhere near the overall power that he did before he went down. Like, yeah, 25-29 is nice, which is what he did, homers and stolen bases in 23. but his 110 OPS, 770 OPS is quite literally like 200 points lower than what we were seeing from him pre-suspension. So like on that side, you're like, okay, like I'm willing to concede that Fernando Tatís Jr. is a very valuable player, but like I'm a little less excited, if I'm being honest, by a gold glove / platinum glove caliber center fielder who has a 770 OPS than I was by what he was before the suspension. Like homers do it for me, man. Like that's, I'm willing to admit that. But now what you're seeing, to your point, is that it's maybe not time to get, and I'm not saying I did, but it's not time to give up on all of that marrying itself. And what we get is an elite offensive player who is also a gold glove caliber center fielder, in which case you're talking about one of the very most valuable players in the entire game, which would be super fun to watch. I know his defense maybe hasn't on the whole been quite at what it was last season, but he's hit 330 with a 964 OPS since the last day of July. And that is much more what we're talking about pre-suspension Tatis offensive level.
Do you think that with the benefit of a normal year next year, without the injury, that we're talking about a player that's easily over an 800 OPS, like pushing 900 next year?
Yes. If I'm looking at Fernando Tatis, to me, I'm looking at his offensive contributions this year as my floor, basically.
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
It's an 813 OPS and a 126 OPS plus. I know he's been, by Baseball Reference, he's been worth about 2 WAR in 88 games. He was better than that last season on a rate basis and overall. But I think that would be my baseline expectation offensively. And I think he's capable of much more. I'm still buying the 875 to 900 OPS Fernando Tatis emerging at some point. And, if he can provide that value in center field, then, whether he gets the votes or not, I'm not ever sure. But I do think there are MVP caliber seasons within Fernando Tatis.
I agree. Nice little Fernando Tatís Jr. segment.
Yeah, a little impromptu.
Yeah, we like that. Some news and notes here really quick before we get the fuck out of here. Jerry Reinsdorf says the White Sox season is, quote, very painful. It's the old hot dog costume meme. We're all looking for the guy who did this. Very painful year for old Jerry. If only there was someone somewhere that could do something about this. Jayhay has echoed this sentiment many times when we've had these discussions about the White Sox. It's Chicago. Like, you are one of the biggest sports markets in the world. There's no excuse. And I love the guy. There's no excuse for Andrew Benintendi being the largest contract signing in the franchise's history. Like, say what you want about the season that he's having. He's turned it around over the last month or so. Yeah. Jayhay has a video essay.
He turned it around almost immediately. He's played his best baseball since the video dropped. I'm thinking he saw the video.
Definitely saw the video. He's turned around a little bit, but even still, on a good team, on a championship team, Benny's probably in his good years the 5th best player on the team, 6th best player on the team. To have that be your largest contract in free agent history is an indictment on ownership, not actually trying to win baseball games. So spare me the sob story when you have the worst season in modern baseball history in terms of win-loss, and talking about how painful it is. Like, you wouldn't walk into a field of broken glass and fire and be like, man, I am hurting right now. Like this, like, you're not going to get any sympathy from anyone. You chose to do that. You could have done something different, and you did what you did. So I don't want to hear it from White Sox ownership how painful this fucking year is. This is the result of your own actions that were very much purposeful and meaningful and with intent.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm a White Sox fan, I've got basically no interest in hearing the line. Like, you expect to hear more from me after the season, or like, any level of disappointment. To your point, like, this is entirely self-inflicted. There's nothing about this ownership group or this family, frankly, in the Reinsdorfs that suggests that they are capable of the sort of self-reflection or self-auditing that would be required to really fix what's going on here. They obviously always won't be this bad, but this is a disgrace. And I'm not saying that to be funny, really. I mean, kind of, but like, and I'm not saying it to be, to pontificate either. It in as far as baseball teams can be a disgrace, this is a disgrace. I mean, it's as bad as baseball gets. The records that they're going to end up have been outlined on this podcast and elsewhere. I can't wait to the end of the season to do a best of. Clem hit me up on Twitter, Barstool Clem, and asked for a best of White Sox stat reel at the end of the year. So I will have to deliver that on this podcast at the end of the year because that sounds like a lot of fun. But this is, I was joking, but Carlos Zambrano's career OPS as a hitter is higher than the White Sox team OPS this season.
The team
OPS. And
that's
not marginally so. It's like 20 points higher. Zambrano's career OPS was 636, and the White Sox team OPS is like 617.
That's so bad.
Carlos Zambrano was a pitcher for any
Correct.
listener who was not around for the Zambrano era. He was a full-time pitcher. He was not Shohei Ohtani. He was a pitcher who could swing it a little.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's better than what the White Sox offense is doing this season.
As a whole, as a collective
they are paid
unit.
batters. Yeah, not an unfair selection of them, not the starters, not second half, the whole season. They are
All
worse.
of them.
All of them. Worse.
Did you tweet that?
I did.
That has to be doing numbies.
It did all right. It's got like 1,000 likes. That's pretty good for me. But
I can't believe that.
It's pretty sad, man. Although I do like figuring out ways to paint that sadness in a statistical light every week or every other podcast. Because as I've said before, you don't really get the opportunity to dig in on something this bad very often.
When did you tweet that? Oh, yeah, here it is. Carlos Zambrano, a pitcher, had a higher career OPS as a batter than the actual White Sox offense has this season. That is incredible. Threw that a retweet. Here's the full statement from Jerry Reinsdorf. Quote, "Everyone in this organization is extremely unhappy with the results of this season. That goes without saying. This year has been very painful for all, especially our fans. We did not arrive here overnight, and solutions won't happen overnight either. Going back to last year, we have made difficult decisions and changes to begin building a foundation for future success. What has impressed me is how our players and staff have continued to work and bring a professional attitude to the ballpark each day, despite a historically difficult season. No one is happy with the results, but I commend the continued effort. I expect to have more to say at the end of the season."
Sure. That's fine. You can commend the effort. It's just a little hollow when, you put them in this situation. At least that's how I would feel as a player or part of the organization that's got to wear this or whatever. Because there's no need to be this bad. This to your original point, to some extent, this has been engineered to happen. Even if they maybe didn't intend to be this level of embarrassing. So this is the risk you run when you don't try and win baseball games.
Mm-hmm. Nobody feels bad for you.
You don't win them.
Nobody at all. Okay. We got to do our factor for the weekend. Pick out a series. I think I know which one I want. I feel like you're going to pick it too, though. Did you have one in mind already?
Ahead. You go ahead, because I sniped you before, so I want you to go ahead and get it.
Brewers DBacks.
Okay, go ahead. Not the one I
Brewers
picked.
D-backs is happening this weekend. This is going to be a dick measuring contest in terms of asserting dominance as far as two teams that have a legit chance to win a World Series this year. I know people are going to be talking about the Phillies. They're going to be talking about the Yankees. They're going to be talking about the Dodgers. But don't sleep on the Brewers and the D-backs who go head to head this weekend. Only the D-backs have named their starters so far. It's Eddie Erod, Brandon Pfaadt, and Zach Gallen who will be going for the D-backs. The Brewers have not named their starters yet. But I feel like this is going to come down to the D-backs offense. When we talk about asserting dominance, I know the Brewers have historically been a team that can just bludgeon you to death. That's not necessarily been the case this year in terms of having that one big bopper. They're down Christian Yelich for the rest of the year. They're MVP. But the D-backs, they can swing it. And there's really no easy out. They have length in their lineup. Like, they're not murderer's row in terms of like, we've got these three dudes in a row that's, they're 35 plus homer, 100 RBI guys, but they have dynamic hitters. They have dynamic players. They're a menace on the base paths. They play the game the right way. They don't make mistakes very often. They play a good, clean game, those Arizona Diamondbacks. So this, they will also have home field advantage in this series. So yes, I don't even know what the factor would be. D-backs Brewers.
Know how?
Yeah, the winning factor is, can the Brewers keep up with the D-backs? That's really what it is. Like, they can punch you in the mouth and you don't even know what happened. By the end of the series, you look up and you've lost the series or you've gotten swept and you're like, what the hell happened? Can the Brewers keep up with the D-backs this weekend in this head-to-head matchup? Justin Havens.
I love it. Good pick. I didn't pick that, so that's convenient for you. I picked the Braves Dodgers series, which we talked about a little bit from earlier on in the podcast as it relates to Ohtani. But what I think is, so there are a couple, before I get to the actual factor that I've identified, what I think is so interesting about this is that at the same time you have this going on, you have the Phillies and Mets playing. So you have both the Braves and the Mets in what should be very interesting / high stakes games. And we know that one game separates the Braves and the Mets currently, with the Mets currently in the lead. My factor is that I think the Braves are going to rise to the occasion here. And I think whether or not Ohtani is goes 50-50 at any point, the Braves pitchers who are scheduled to pitch have had not terrible overall performance against Ohtani and Mookie Betts at the top of the Dodgers rotation. To name a couple, I'm not going to spend this entire podcast naming all of the batter pitcher results, but Charlie Morton, Mookie Betts has a 819 OPS across 41 plate appearances, which to me is keeping him in check. He's only got one home run in that span. Mookie Betts is also 1 for 15 career against Max Fried. Both of those pitchers are scheduled to face the Dodgers. This is a 4-game series, which is also another intriguing part. So if one team, gets the better of the other, takes 3 of 4, sweeps the series, it could be devastating for the Atlanta Braves' chances. But I think they're going to rise based on their pitchers' relative success head-to-head against the Dodgers' most important players.
Love that. You got some nugs for us, Jay?
Yeah, I got a few.
Yeah.
I've dumped a few of them while we've been podcasting here, but I got a few left over as well. One not nug that I just wanted to note quickly, and maybe we can put a pin in it and come back to it at a different time, is that I think a lot of people looked at the 3-way between the White Sox, the Cardinals, and the Dodgers, and maybe thought the Cardinals got the best end of it, or maybe thought, what exactly are the Dodgers doing here? I just wanted to note that the Dodgers ROI on that trade looks absolutely spectacular right now. And that I think we can just get to the point where if the Dodgers are doing business with the Cardinals and the White Sox, we should just assume that the Dodgers are going to come out ahead on that transaction, because Tommy Edman had some heroics or some sparks last night, but has overall been, in a limited sample, been very effective for them. And Michael Kopech has been, got the save last night and has been a huge asset out of the bullpen, while most of the other people involved in the deal have not. I mean, Tommy Pham's already on a different team, and Eric Fetty has proved not to be a difference maker for the Cardinals and won't be pitching postseason innings for them. So, final Nugs. Speaking of the Cardinals, Ryan Helsley, 44th save last night. For those keeping track at home for this milestone, he's now 4 saves from tying the franchise record set by Trevor Rosenthal in 2015, which is 48 saves. So that's something to watch. Also, Colin Ray, tough. First Brewers pitcher in franchise history to allow 10 or more runs, 11 or more hits, and 3 or more homers in a start of 4 or fewer innings pitched. So a lot of qualifiers there, but regardless of how you cut that, probably not the start that he wanted. And CJ Abrams, part of that great young Nationals up-and-coming core, he became the 11th shortstop in Major League Baseball history with 20. He hit his 20th homer with 20 or more homers, 25 or more doubles, 5 or more triples, and 25 or more stolen bases in a season. Again, the 11th shortstop ever to do that. The only shortstops with multiple such seasons. Can you guess them, Jared?
Nomar Garcia.
There are only 2 of them. No, it is Jimmy Rollins with 4, and Bobby Witt Jr. already has 3 of them in 3 seasons.
Wow.
So Bobby Witt Jr. will eventually own this particular record, you would think, in as much as 20, 25, 5, and 25 by a shortstop is a record. And those are the Nugs.
Love that. Jake's takes?
Just can't wait for the Braden Vs Braden showdown. We got a brand new set of questions here. Just came through. Should be starting up in a couple minutes.
Love that. All right. We're going to stop down. You, the listener, will get right back into Family Feud, and we'll see you then. All right, you asked for it. Everyone was demanding it. You've been waiting for it patiently. We appreciate your patience. It is the Thursday Family Feud, Dallas Braden versus viral sensation, MLB megastar, Meg Braden, who, by the way, thank you for joining us. I know you've probably had a million requests for other baseball podcasts, other media outlets probably asking to talk to you now that you've gone super viral with Major League Baseball. But we would be remiss if we didn't extend the invite and make sure that this was the first stop that you did on your media tour. What's it been like for you since you became the more famous Braden?
It's wild. I mean, I am getting a lot of requests, but you know, I gotta keep everybody at bay.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah, I feel like Dallas said, he was saying before you came on, he was like, I just really want her to go on Ben Verlander's podcast. Like that would be like a proud husband moment for me if she reached the pinnacle of baseball media and that she was a guest on Ben Verlander's podcast. But I was like, Dallas, you have to understand, like, she needs to come on Baseball is Dead first. It'd be a bad look if she didn't come on with us first, and then she can go on with Ben Verlander after that. So thank you for choosing us, because I know you had options. Are you excited to go up against Dallas in Family Feud today?
I am thrilled. I don't know how well I'm going to do, but I feel like I might just kick his butt.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's coming.
It is funny how this cooperative event has turned into a head-to-head competition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. With that being said, sweetheart, you're in my world now, okay?
Oh,
and
wow.
Let's remember how our first foray into Family Feud went. Who was standing on the mountaintop? Who was standing there with the one, the only, the legendary Steve Harvey, espousing record breaker. I mean, we know how it went. It was pandemonium in the studio when I sank that 193. It was, so you know what's coming.
It was.
You know what's coming.
We'll see.
All right. Well,
We'll see.
I don't host and I don't do anything technologically. I was just here to set the scene, paint the picture, and welcome you to the program and make you feel comfortable because Dallas makes us feel all uncomfortable. So it's my job here to make you feel comfortable. I hope that I achieved that today, and I will let the rest of the gentlemen take it from here.
Appreciate it.
Of course.
Jake, hit it. Welcome back to Baseball is Dead Family Feud. I'm your man, Justin Havens. I got to admit, I'm a little nervous for this one. I'm a little bit nervous because I've wanted to meet our guest for so long, and this is a really big moment for me, and I know a lot of our listeners. It is Meg Braden time here on Family Feud. Welcome in. Thank you so much for, as Jared alluded to earlier, carving out just a little piece of time for us here on Baseball is Dead.
Absolutely. We wouldn't have missed it.
Dallas, any thoughts here, having this imposing social media force across from you in Family Feud?
Yeah, I got to admit, I'm feeling things emotionally that I haven't felt in this forum before. It's
Pretty natural.
I would hope not.
I won't even call it nervous. I don't even know what to call it.
I'm attracted
nervous.
to
I don't
a
know if
lot
it's
of
nervous.
different guys.
Yeah.
And you see, that's
Sums
the
it
kind
up.
of shit that I have to deal with, Megan, on a day in, day out basis. I didn't say that.
Yeah, I mean, I
apparently
fly
said
my
it.
guy down here to do me sometimes.
Oh my word.
So that's what we got going here.
Ah.
I don't know what sort of nefarious activity Jayhay and the Discord have been up to, but we're about to find out. So I'm as ready as I can
yank on him.
do.
What I will tell you is that we have cooked up a very special batch of questions that are more tailored to the experience with the two of you than they would be to people who are solely interested in baseball. So you will notice that a little bit of a different vibe. We were not going to throw 5 random ass baseball questions at Meg and expect that to be a good time. So
Appreciate
we
that.
have adjusted that.
Rush that ass.
They are by and large baseball themed though. I do think
Whoa.
as somebody who has been around the game as you have for so long through Dallas's illustrious career, primarily as a broadcaster. I don't really recall what he did as a player, but that I'm sure you're going to be able to be capable of answering well as well. So with that being said, do we know who is going first?
My love, I will let you pick. Do you want to go first or do you want to go second?
I kind of want Meg to close it.
Okay,
right, then
I'll
I'll go
close it.
first.
That's fine.
Then
I'll be a team player.
All right.
Okay.
gonna
I
have
feel like that's more dramatic for the audience if Meg is coming through.
Mhm.
All right.
or do we want Dallas freaking out? What do we want?
Ooh.
I don't freak out. I don't know what you
I
guys are
don't
talking
freak
about.
out. Okay. Well,
All right, Meg.
Well,
We'll kick it back to you. What do you want to do?
I don't care. Doesn't matter to me.
How about Meg goes first? Since
Okay.
are you wearing you're wearing
And then the
earbuds?
pressure's all on Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So when it's Dallas's
them
turn,
off.
you're gonna have to take them off, but you're good for right
Okay.
now. All right, Dallas,
Okay.
pop
All
them
right,
off.
Dallas, pop those off. Meg's going first.
I'm nervous.
All right. Don't be nervous. And one thing before we get started that you definitely should not be nervous about is signing up with the promo code Jared
Yeah.
to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a special pick on Underdog. That's Underdog promo code Jared. Check out that CD Lamb promo over 0.5 yards. That's the way to go. Get in it. Promo code Jared. All right. Jake, are you ready?
Let's do it.
I can hear. Whoa.
Yeah,
whoa.
there's an echo. You're gonna have to turn Dallas down.
I don't want Dallas to be Can he hear that? Are we leaking answers to him?
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
He's muted. All right.
There we go. Great. Okay. All right, Meg. So just to not to insult your Family Feud awareness, but in this version there are 5 questions. Okay, it's the final step. You will get 5 questions. You have approximately 3 to 4 seconds to answer those each one. Okay, so some level of urgency. Yep, do the best you can. We're very happy to have you. Here we go. Ready? All right. Question 1. What major league city is the most fun for the spouse of a player?
The home city?
Yes.
So Oakland.
Oh, Oakland?
Okay.
Between the following options, first baseline, third baseline, behind home plate, and the outfield, where is the best place to sit to view a baseball game?
Behind home plate.
When you're in a pinch, what's the best meal to make for a small batch of children?
Mac and cheese.
What's the best baseball movie ever made?
Major League.
What's the most important quality in an MLB broadcaster?
Enthusiasm.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Nicely done. Let me tally up the points here. Oh, yeah, that was a big one. Dallas, pop him back on, buddy.
All right. You hear us, Dallas?
Hello?
Yes.
Got you.
Okay.
This is good. This is good. Okay.
What?
No, Meg,
I was-
Meg did a very, very good job. More than representative. I think her average will fit nicely alongside the stats that we have for the two of you. She brought home, and once, as always, check me on this if I'm off, Jake, but I have 134.
134 it is.
Wow.
So that means Dallas needs 66 points over his 5 questions to bring home the Braden championship here. Meg, can he do it? How you feeling confidence-wise?
Very confident.
Okay.
That's my girl. That's my girl. Yeah, girl.
Obviously, Dallas knows how this goes. You will answer all 5 questions, and then we'll go through them and see whether you were able to capture 66 points. Are you ready, sir? New environment for you.
I know. Can I ask my wife one question?
Maybe.
Sure, I may cut you off.
Yeah,
Jared,
I
but
may disallow her to answer, but proceed.
Was there a lengthy question? Were the questions long?
No, I think I got confused on one of them
Okay. Likely.
on
Okay,
how to
that's good.
answer, but
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
it was one of the shorter ones, to be fair. So
yeah, I think I just wasn't sure like what to say.
Jay's calling you an idiot right now, Meg.
No.
That's not cool.
Wow, thank you.
She answered her answer was absolutely on the board. So
All right. All right. All right.
hardly an idiot. All right, Dallas, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. I hope he freaks out in front of all these other people. That would be so funny. Question 1. What major league city is the most fun for the spouse of a player?
Probably New York.
Between the following options, first baseline, third baseline, behind home plate, and the outfield / bleachers, where is the best place to sit to view a baseball game?
Behind home plate. Bleachers.
When you're in a pinch, what's the best meal to make a small batch of children?
Spaghetti.
What's the best baseball movie ever made?
Field of Dreams.
What's the most important quality in an MLB broadcaster?
Sense of humor.
Got it. Thank you. Let's see what we got here.
Did I feel good
Okay.
about it. I feel okay about that.
Well, let's find out, sir. Let's find out whether your wife is going to be proud of you or whether you have sullied the family name and ruined her chance at continued viral stardom. Here we go. Question number 1. What major league city is the most fun for a spouse of a player? This was the one that supposedly tripped Meg up a little bit. Am I right, Meg?
Yeah.
Yeah. She said the home city when Oakland.
No.
That was worth 3 points.
Okay.
So on the board, Dallas came through with the number 1 answer, however.
Well, I was thinking home, like home city of whatever player it is.
I understand. I know why now you would say that. That's probably what I would say. I like being home too. But the New York City was the number 1 answer with 27. Miami was the number 2 answer at 17.
Oh, cokeheads.
So with Meg's 134, which we already know about, Dallas added 27 right off the bat of the 66 that he needed. So we're already sitting at 164. He needs
Megan,
36 more.
if you're Oakland,
Hey, I did
question
awesome.
fucks us,
I said home, so technically I
Sorry,
get
39.
all of the points because I selected every city.
That's true.
Wow, that's a good point. The loophole we didn't consider. Second question. Between the following options, first base, third base, behind home plate, and the outfield or bleachers, where's the best place to sit to view a game? You guys were 100% in agreement on this one. Home plate, that's also what the fans said. That was the number 1 overall answer, 53 points. So a huge get for Meg there in her second question. Dallas stumbled to the outfield. That was of 3 answers. Of 4, the third most popular, but it got you 14. So nothing to be sneezed at. You're up to
environment. Come on.
third base was the least popular answer with
I agree.
11 points.
Yep. Sucks.
Really. So I would go first base side. That's where I like to sit. Meg knows that that's where I like to sit first base side because we can watch. I make her sit there. We stare at the left-handed pitcher. And when we go to Chavez Ravine, that's where we sit because we sit and we watch Clayton Kershaw pitch from the first base side.
There you go. That's a good little behind the curtain there for the listeners. That's why you tune in to Family Feud. So with 14 points there, that brings the two of you up to 175. So you need 25 points in 3 questions. Question 3. When you're in a pinch, what's the best meal to make a small batch of children? Like the ones running around the Braden household. Meg came through as, props to you. The number 1 overall answer, mac and cheese, 42 points. Dallas, you can tell this is a man who spends his life on the road. Maybe mixing a meal for your children, Dallas. He came in with spaghetti.
What about nuggies, guy?
Yeah,
Nuggies.
straight from the night. Jesus. Meg, salt in the wound, just going ahead and casually throwing out the number 2 answer, too. Chicken nuggies, tendies was the number 2 answer. Between Meg's answers, she got 78 of the 100 points. Obviously, you only get credit for 1. But spaghetti, it did move you forward. It got you 3.
Oh. Ooh.
So that was the 5th most common answer.
If your spaghetti answer screws us, then
Oh, yeah,
Hey,
exactly, Dallas. Right back at you.
Now listen. Here's why I feel this way, Megan. What do our children want when they're hungry or when they don't feel good? What do they want?
when they
What
don't
is-
feel good, Kinsley's the only one that wants spaghetti.
Oh, gosh.
So-
Get to know your other children.
Oh, wow.
So,
They do love spaghetti, though. I'll give him that. But it's not easy on a pinch to make.
Right.
whatever.
Yep. Good answer. One person responded with soup. Good luck to that family.
Yeah.
Um,
How many points do they need, Jayhay?
with that 3, we're down to 22
22.
points with 2 questions remaining. The drama is not at full gear, but we're getting there. What's the best baseball movie ever made?
Oh, here we go.
Meg
We got this.
answered Major League. I agree personally, but that was the 4th most common answer with 11 points. Dallas
Wow.
answered Field of Dreams. That was the 2nd most common answer, but it
What's
ain't
the first
22
one?
points.
Uh-oh.
It's 18 points.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
They are
fuck, come on.
they're
What
in
was
the
number
red
one? Was
zone.
Sandlot number 1?
What is number 1?
Sandlot was number 1
Oh,
with
shit.
39.
I was- I was going to do it. I was going to revisit it because Sandlot was an answer early in Family Feud, but I didn't want to go back that. I wanted to see if we had grown as a Discord. Apparently not.
Dallas is correct. We have done this question before. We did produce a different arrangement of answers, which I find interesting because obviously, as everyone knows, when we put this in the Discord, it gets snatched up within 2 minutes. So it's probably a entirely different batch of people answering the questions. But anyway, Sandlot 39, Field of Dreams 18, Moneyball sneaks in with 15, and then Major League with 11. I've got some nits to pick with that list, but nevertheless, we get all the way up to 196 with one question left. Dallas needs 4 points, and it's probably the question he should be able to answer, given that it's about his profession. What's the most important quality in an MLB broadcaster? Meg said enthusiasm, which was a very good answer. That was worth 15 points and the third most common answer. Okay. Just to give some context here, Dallas needs 4 points. He provided sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a good one to have in his position over the last few years. Humor, comedy, and cleverness. That was the second most common answer for 16 points.
Flash the camera. Don't do that, Meg. Don't do that. Don't do that. Good for us.
No. We want to. We'll get censored on YouTube. Kill our views. Humor, comedy, and clever. That was 16 points. So Dallas and Meg clear the bar by 12 points for 212. Congratulations to the two of you.
Great job.
Me too.
This is actually my first time meeting Meg, so I'm not going to presume, but I would have to assume that this is the most important moment as a couple in your lives.
Yeah, probably. Very close.
Yeah, it's close. Like I kind of skip over the childbirths, right? I mean, I did a lot of the work getting us there.
You've got a lot of fun. Yeah.
But I think the record will reflect that when it comes to the blood and sweat put into that endeavor, it's pretty much neck and neck, right?
Yep.
So from there, Meg, and I don't want to speak for us, but I will. I would have to say that this, yes, on the shoulders of my performance, we've once again sailed to the top. We won't get into the stats too much. I mean, we will later. We don't need to now. No,
I mean, 212 total points. Meg got 134.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't want to get too deep in the
math.
weeds on those. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Can we do math now?
78 points for Dallas for those keeping track at home. So just above half of what Meg got. Not bad.
Yeah.
Viral sensation Meg Braden, thank you so much for participating in Family Feud. It was a real honor.
Thank you, Meg.
It was such a pleasure.
Do we know sneak peek? Do we know what we're going to have Dallas say on the broadcast tonight?
No, not yet.
So we're cooking on it.
I'm figuring it out.
Can we?
That is the other half of my morning.
Can we maybe workshop it here live? Is there something that us as a group collective could come up with to have Dallas say?
I would love that. I've gotten a lot of suggestions to do like decades, like 90s, 2000s, 80s, instead of just like a singular artist.
Is it always song lyrics?
Yeah, it's a little difficult to get movie quotes in.
Yeah.
Because they're generally too long. Song lyrics you can cut.
That's true.
So, and then I've gotten suggestions about like how many times can you throw in a food item or like something like that. But I'm like, he already says like queso and hot dogs and shit all the time anyway. So I'm like, that's not anything new.
It's true. Jayhay, does anything come to mind for you?
Yeah, I know we just said that we're not going to do music or movie stuff, but just fresh off of the conversation about Willow on the last podcast, and I don't know if that's a passion project for Meg too or not, but maybe when the high Aldwin drops the line, "Magic is the bloodstream of the universe." I feel like that could be a really good one in the baseball context. So that would be my suggestion. No pressure though.
That is a good one.
Meg has never seen Willow, Jayhay.
Nope.
I haven't either.
Geez.
Sorry.
So the issue that plagues my relationship also plagues yours, which is a lack of
Yes.
Willow awareness or appreciation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. Severe lack of Willow awareness.
All right,
I'm
well,
so incredibly sorry.
yeah. If you
about
magic
that.
is the bloodstream of the universe. If you wanted to use it, just to reiterate
Yeah.
the quote. Yep.
I like that one.
Write that down.
Yeah.
Write that down, babe.
Well, that's something. That's a starting point. That's a starting point.
Yeah.
All right. Meg Braden, viral sensation, and now Family Feud champion. You enjoy the rest of your day. And we'll see you back here soon. I mean, we're going to have to do a season recap once we get to the finish line here. And we're going to have to maybe do like a Meg Braden top 10 lines that she fed to Dallas for the season. We're going to knock it down to like a top 10 and have you read off your favorites and power rank them.
Love that. That sounds like fun.
Okay. All right.
Can't
We'll see
wait.
you then. Congratulations. And thank you to everyone for watching and everyone for listening. And we will be back on Monday. Enjoy your weekend of baseball and we'll see you then.
Wow.